want you to meet Julian, my son. Our son, I adopted him.
I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything. I can't believe this shit. We got a family now. I can't raise this kid alone.
Greetings, guests. Welcome to the Patriarchy, where we explore cinema classics fueled by predictive Hollywood programming and unpack how our favorite characters in cinema got egg all over their faces. I am your commentator, Dom, and tonight we're unpacking Big Daddy. I have been searching high and low for a character in film that's a woman that can blatantly up a kid and it be passed off as humor. And yes, there are plenty of bad moms in film who mess up their kids. Check out my Notorious Moms in Film video here, but these films are typically dramas with a very heavy and dark subject matter. They are not meant to be funny. Big Daddy, however, the tale of a man fraudulently taking guardianship over a 5-year-old to try and salvage his demising relationship with his girlfriend, all while serving as a pretty bad role model for the kid in the interim. Now, this is comedy. And don't get me wrong, Big Daddy does have its funny moments back in 1999 when it debuted, but after a rewatch, I didn't laugh once. In fact, I'll say that I think that this film aged pretty badly.
Prove it!
And we're going to talk about why in this video. First, a quick rundown of the plot. Sonny, played by Adam Sandler, is either in his late 20s or early 30s, and he still conducts himself as a child.
What do you need, a father figure? Stop pulling your sister's hair!
He's very immature, smart but not ambitious, and completely lazy and unserious about life. His roommate Kevin, who just proposed to his girlfriend Karen, is off to China for a business trip when a social worker shows up at their door with a kid, 5-year-old Julian, whose mom needs his dad to take care of him because, and we don't discover this until later in the film, but she was sick and ended up dying. So Sonny, trying to look out for his friend Kevin, says that he'll take care of everything, making sure that Julian gets back to social services and in the hands of a family who's ready to take him in. However, after hanging out with Julian for 24 hours, Sonny has the bright idea to use this kid to save his relationship with his girlfriend Vanessa, who stated earlier in the film that she needed him to get serious and move forward in life.
You refuse to move on to the next phase of your life. I, on the other hand, would like to have a family someday, but I need someone that I can rely on, not just a playmate.
Vanessa moves on though, and after seeing that Vanessa's moved on to a much older man, Sid, Sonny's stuck and tries to give Julian back, and while waiting for the kid to be placed with another home, decides to parent him in the best way that he knows how, which is by allowing Julian to do whatever he wants.
I don't want to study.
At some point, Sonny does meet another woman. This woman happens to be Karen's sister Layla, and voila, Sonny decides to fight for the kid again. In the end, his roommate, Julian's father, takes custody. Sonny plays the fun uncle role while starting his own family with Layla, and boom, we have a happily ever after ending to the film. Okay, so I tried to be as brief as possible with the plot because there is a lot to unpack in this movie. First, we have to talk about all of the ill-fitted jokes as it relates to Hooters. And for those who don't know what Hooters is, I'm not sure if this restaurant chain can be found outside of the States, but Hooters is a chain of restaurants in the US that serves your typical American fare: burgers, wings, and beer. But the theme of this restaurant is that the waitstaff consists primarily of young and attractive women in revealing outfits, low tops, the classic orange short shorts, and are meant to showcase their bodies and curves. Now, this film does an excellent job of greatly disparaging anyone who's ever worked there.
Hey, Corinne, why don't you put a tank top on for old time's sake? Come on.
What is he talking about, Mommy?
Nothing.
As a running joke throughout the movie is Sonny making fun of his roommate's fiance, Karen, for having worked at Hooters while she was in school.
And then what, are you gonna go to your Hooters reunion? You guys can sit around and talk about whose ass hangs out of their shorts the most? That was your girlfriend. She was acting really hooterific again. Oh, so this is something you learned at Hooters.
He literally cannot interact with this woman without throwing this fact in her face, despite her having a better career than he does as a doctor now.
And for the record, where did you work while you attended medical school?
Hooters. Asshole.
Yes, she's a doctor and he works at a toll booth, yet he still gives her shit about having worked, past tense, worked at Hooters.
Be fine, don't worry. Hooters, Hooters, Hooters.
Siri, what's the definition of misogyny again?
Misogyny is hatred of, contempt for, or prejudice against women or girls. It is a form of sexism that can keep women at a lower social status than men, thus maintaining the social roles of patriarchy.
Yeah, that's it. Sony attempts to degrade Corinne's existence at every turn by throwing in her face that she worked at a Hooters. But this running, very disparaging joke had to happen. The audience had to see his objectification and disdain for the Hooters girl throughout the storyline. And we see why at the end of the film when it's shown that his ex-girlfriend who broke up with him is now working there. Yes, the classic old ha ha, I'm up, you're down ending.
What happened to Sid's 5-year plan?
These types of endings are always meant to give the main character some sort of vindication for a perceived wrong that happened to them at some point during the plot. In Sonny's case, the perceived wrong was his girlfriend, Vanessa, leaving him for an older, presumably more mature and established man, Sid.
Is everything okay?
Oh my god. Man, I'm sorry, I was freaking out there. Hey, Sid, I had an attack of paranoia. I thought you were sleeping with my girl.
I am.
What's that?
But was Vanessa wrong for this? Was she really the villain here? Let's dissect what we saw on screen about their relationship. At the beginning of the movie, Vanessa is sleeping over at Sonny's apartment and she wakes up late in a panic after realizing that Sonny turned off the alarm clock.
Shit!
I gotta go.
Shit! Damn it. Turn off the alarm clock again.
Because he selfishly didn't want to be disturbed in the morning. And this isn't his first time doing this. He's a saboteur.
Saboteur! Saboteur!
She's notably upset because now she's late for a meeting with some potential clients that she's trying to get for her party planning business.
I shouldn't have stayed here. That was a real jerk thing to do. Thanks a lot.
Sonny is completely unapologetic, brushes this act off, and just wants her to hang out with him all day.
What are you doing? Why are you going to work? It's Sunday.
He doesn't understand why she's angry and frustrated, and she voices very clearly that she's upset because he refuses to move on to the next phase of his life.
What the hell's the matter with you? Why are you being so nuts to me lately?
Because you refuse to move on to the next phase of your life. I, on the other hand, would like to have a family someday, but I need someone that I can rely on.
He makes light of this too, and yeah, it's a comedy, I get it, but are we really surprised that Vanessa tried to move on to someone who she thought was more mature? Can we knock her for that? They aren't married, not even engaged. Why should she stick around with a man who obviously refuses at this point to grow up? This ha-ha, look at me and look at you now moment at the very end when Sonny finally gets it together and sees Vanessa working at Hooters, a place that he obviously doesn't think very highly of, doesn't sit right with me, as it's enforcing the idea that she should have stuck with this guy. Like, yeah, don't try and better your life. Stick with a man who's showing no desire to grow up, no ambition to move forward, and maybe, just maybe, he'll get it together one day. This ending reprimands a woman who is trying to do what's best for her, and even though she does miss the mark with Sid, she did make a very logical choice by leaving a very inconsiderate and unambitious Sonny. And we completely glossed over the fact that Sonny tried to baby trap this woman.
You surprising me with a kid that you adopted while I was away wasn't what I said I wanted.
I did this for you.
And that in itself is reason enough to break up with him. Vanessa was the whole entire reason for him wanting to keep Julian in the first place.
So you're thinking that since sometimes women get pregnant to try to fix a troubled relationship, why can't a guy adopt a kid to do the same thing?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
He impulsively tries to push this 5-year-old kid on her with no intention of doing any of the messy parts of parenting.
Alright, I don't know how to deal with this. Hopefully Vanessa will. I think she's back. If she's not back, we'll wait for her.
So this slapstick comedy has a man trying to baby trap a woman to stay with him, the reprimanding of a woman trying to do better, and the biggest theme of all that I saw was a man not really wanting the responsibility of a child unless a woman was there to do the hard work. It's important to note that after yet another foster family is found for Julian, when Sonny meets Layla, all of a sudden he wants to keep the kid again. And it appears when the social worker catches on to the serious fraud that's occurred and Sonny is threatened with the fact that Julian will be taken from him, that he's had some sort of epiphany. He's turned a new leaf into some selfless father figure who wants nothing but the best for the child and truly believes that he's the best parent for Julian. But did Sonny really change? I don't think so. He's still selfish. Things are still centering around his needs. There is this scene when he barges into Layla's workplace, expecting her to drop literally everything, her job responsibilities, her prior commitments, for his appeal to get custody of Julian. And it's not like he's short of attorneys to help, like literally all of his friends are lawyers, but she does it anyway. I did not like Layla's constant acquiescence to Sonny throughout the plot. It's almost like she had to be convinced to be in that relationship. Layla should have listened to her initial gut or guts and left Sonny alone. Like, sure, the ending seems like a happy one, but based on what we know about Sonny's character, do we really think that just because he finally got a job and foolishly had a baby after only 1 year of knowing her, that he's going to be the best partner for her? I have doubts. Let's end with a montage of all of the things that Sonny taught Julian during their time together.
What do you want?
30 packets of ketchup.
Ow! Nice cut, pal!
And yes, I am aware Sonny does become a more responsible guardian to Julian later in the film, but it's only when Julian's antisocial behavior becomes a problem in school is when Sonny decides to introduce some real structure into his life. But by this point, Julian has already turned into a straight-up brat. It's like Sonny doesn't take actions to improve situations unless there's an imminent threat, such as the ending of his relationship with Vanessa, well, I'll just adopt a kid. Or Julian getting into trouble at school, okay, well, we need to take baths now and start studying more. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this film 25 years later. Was Vanessa wrong for leaving Sonny? Was Layla completely crazy for having a baby with this man? Let me know your thoughts, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you've enjoyed the content. Signing off now, your friend, Dom.